Breaking news, and this one is big for the left-back position. Chelsea have made their move for a new left-back, and this transfer saga has everything. A release clause, a rejected bid, competition from a Bundesliga giant, and Xabi Alonso pulling the strings personally. We're talking about Pep Chavaria from Rayo Vallecano. If you're a Chelsea fan, you need to hear this whole story, because it is developing fast. Let's get into it. So let's set the scene. Why are Chelsea even in the market for a left-back right now? Simple. Marc Cucurella is gone. Chelsea sold him to Real Madrid for a reported £51.8 million, wrapping up a deal that closed back on June 15th. Cucurella had been one of Chelsea's most reliable defenders in recent seasons, part of the squad that won the UEFA Europa Conference League and the FIFA Club World Cup. Big shoes to fill. That sale leaves Chelsea with basically one senior option at left-back, Jorel Hato. Talented, absolutely. Ready to be the guy, week in, week out? That's the question mark. Xabi Alonso, the new Chelsea boss, clearly doesn't want to throw a young player into that pressure alone. So the club went straight to the market. And the name that's come up over and over again, Pep Chavaria. Now, for a lot of Premier League fans, this name might not ring a bell. So let's break down who this guy actually is. Chavaria is 28 years old, a Spanish left-back, currently at Rayo Vallecano. He joined them from Real Zaragoza back in 2022 for a fee of just €1.8 million. Absolute bargain business by Rayo. Since then, he's racked up over 100 appearances in La Liga and more than 125 in all competitions for the club. The numbers aren't flashy. 2 goals, around 8 assists across his time there. But this isn't a guy who's valued for chipping in goals. He's valued for his defensive work. Scouts describe him as intense, someone who anticipates the game well and plays on the front foot. He's physically strong, quick, and not afraid to get forward and support the attack either. One interesting stat, last season, he ranked among the best fullbacks in La Liga for duels won and defensive duels won. Where he's a bit weaker is in the air. Aerial duels aren't his strong suit. But on the ground, very, very solid. He was also a big part of Rayo Vallecano's incredible run to the Europa Conference League final last season. A run that, ironically, ended with a loss to Crystal Palace. Here's where it gets really interesting, and honestly, this is the part that makes this transfer feel realistic rather than just speculation. This isn't some random name thrown up by a scouting database. Chavaria is a player who is personally known to Xabi Alonso and to people close to Alonso. According to transfer insider Fabrizio Romano, Alonso has actually asked for this specific player. Romano put it simply on his YouTube channel. Chelsea and Xabi Alonso are working together this summer on transfer targets, and Alonso is involved in the process to decide about the players, in his words. So when you hear that Chelsea are chasing a name you don't immediately recognise, remember, this is a manager pick. Alonso has seen this guy up close in La Liga. He trusts what he can bring, and he's pushed for the move personally. That matters. Managers backing specific transfer targets tend to actually happen. Okay, let's talk numbers, because this is where the drama is right now. Chavaria is valued by Transfermarkt at around 9 to 9.5 million euros. But, and here's the twist, he's got a release clause sitting at roughly 25 million euros. That's a massive gap between market value and release clause, and it tells you Rayo Vallecano are in no rush to sell cheap. Chelsea made their opening move, a bid in the region of 9 million euros plus add-ons. Rayo said no, rejected straight away according to Mundo Deportivo. Why? Because Chavaria signed a contract extension only last year, and he's actually tied to Rayo all the way until 2030. That gives the Madrid-based club serious leverage. They don't need to sell, so they can hold out for a fee much closer to that release clause if they want to. Fabrizio Romano has since confirmed that talks are ongoing directly between the two clubs. His exact update, Chelsea are in, quote, club-to-club talks with Rayo Vallecano for Pep Chavaria as new left-back. And there's already been contact made with the player's camp, with the player himself keen on the move. So where does that leave things? Somewhere between that €9 million opening bid and the €25 million release clause is probably where this deal eventually lands, if it lands at all. Now, Chelsea aren't the only club circling here, and this adds some real urgency to the situation. Bayer Leverkusen have also been reported as interested in Chavaria, and that's a serious competitor. Leverkusen have become one of the more attractive destinations in European football over the past couple of seasons, especially for players who want regular Champions League football and a well-run project. If Chelsea drag their feet on this negotiation, there's a genuine risk they could lose him to Leverkusen instead. That's part of why you're seeing reports push the idea that all parties are confident of getting a deal done soon. Nobody wants this one to slip away over a few million euros in fee negotiations. So what about Chavaria himself? Because ultimately, players have a say in these things too. According to Romano's reporting, the player is keen on this move. He wants the step up. He wants the chance to play under Xabi Alonso in the Premier League. For a guy who spent his career mostly outside the very top level of Spanish football, and who's never even played for the Spanish national team despite his experience, this is the kind of opportunity that doesn't come around twice. Now, is there risk here? Sure. One respected Spanish football insider actually admitted he was surprised Chelsea were even looking at Chavaria, questioning whether his level is quite where it needs to be for a club with Chelsea's ambitions. That's a fair take. Jumping from Rayo Vallecano to a club competing at the top of the Premier League and in Europe is a big leap. But the same insider also said that Alonso personally requesting him should give Chelsea fans some reassurance. If the manager who knows him best believes he can do it, that carries weight. Let's zoom out for a second. Where would Chavaria actually fit? If this deal goes through, he wouldn't necessarily walk straight into the starting 11. Jorel Hato is still seen as a big part of Alonso's plans going forward, and there's also been talk of Chelsea using a back three system next season, which would open up wing-back opportunities for multiple players, including some other names already linked with the club. So realistically, Chavaria looks like he'd come in as competition and depth at left-back, someone experienced who can push Hato, cover injuries and offer a different profile. Not necessarily the guy who takes the shirt on day one, but someone who raises the level of competition in that position, which is exactly what a club at Chelsea's level needs. So what happens now? Both clubs are talking. The player wants it. Chelsea's opening bid was knocked back, but nobody's walked away from the table. The big question is simply, what fee gets this over the line? Given Rayo's leverage with that long contract and high release clause, don't be shocked if Chelsea have to come back with a significantly improved offer. Maybe somewhere in the 15 to 20 million euro range to get this done. And with Leverkusen lurking, Chelsea probably can't afford to negotiate too slowly. Keep in mind, this is developing quickly, and by the time some of you are watching this, there could already be a new update. So make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on, because the moment there's a fee agreed or medical scheduled, we'll have it here first. So that's the full story on Chelsea's pursuit of Pep Chavaria. A genuine Xabi Alonso target, talks ongoing between the clubs, the player fully on board, but a transfer fee still being worked out. Let me know in the comments. Do you think Chelsea should push through the release clause and get this done fast? Or do you think they should hold firm and risk losing him to Leverkusen? Drop a like if you want more Chelsea transfer updates, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.